So Meghan Markle just had the most awkward moment of her post-royal life captured in print. And honestly, I'm still cringing for her. We're talking about a scene so uncomfortable that even the journalist who witnessed it couldn't help but shade her in the article. But here's the thing. This isn't just about one embarrassing moment. This is about a pattern that's been building for years, and it's finally all coming to a head. Look, I know what you're thinking. Another Meghan Markle video? But trust me, this one hits different. Because we're not talking about paparazzi photos or royal family drama. We're talking about what happens behind closed doors when the cameras aren't rolling. And according to the people who've actually worked with her, it's a mess. A beautiful, expensive, designer-clad mess. But before we get into all that juicy workplace tea, let me paint you a picture of what just happened with Harper's Bazaar. Picture this. You're a journalist. You've landed an interview with Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex herself. You show up to a borrowed brownstone on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Fancy, right? You walk in and there are literally only two people in this massive house. You and, well, not Meghan yet. Then it happens. The house manager steps forward and announces, in full royal protocol fashion, Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Now pause. Let me repeat that. There are two people in this house, the journalist and the house manager. That's it. And this house manager is announcing Meghan like she's entering a state dinner at Buckingham Palace. I cannot make this up. The journalist, Caitlin Greenidge, writing for Harper's Bazaar, literally put this in the article. And you know what? Good for her. Because that moment? That's not normal. That's not how announcements work. Historically, you announce someone when they're entering a crowded room, not when someone else walks into your borrowed house. But wait, it gets better. This wasn't even the first time during their interview process. Earlier, when they met at the La Brea Tar Pits in Los Angeles, someone announced the Duchess of Sussex as Meghan rolled up in a golf cart. A golf cart, people. At a fossil dig site, with middle school girls waiting to meet her. Now, I need to be fair here. Etiquette experts have weighed in, and technically, she's not breaking any rules. She has the title. She can use it. It's her legal name. But here's what the experts also said, and this is the kicker. Traditionally, you announce the guest, not the person the guest is coming to see. So even by royal etiquette standards, this was backwards. But the internet? Oh, the internet had a field day. PR experts started weighing in, calling it painfully performative and the cringiest of cringe. One expert straight up said there's no universe where something like that happens spontaneously. It was either agreed to or requested. And honestly, that makes it so much worse. Okay, so the announcement thing is embarrassing, but it's just one moment, right? Wrong. Because while everyone was focused on that cringe-worthy entrance, there's been a much bigger story quietly unfolding. Meghan and Harry have a staff retention problem. And by problem, I mean a full-blown crisis. Ready for this number? 18. 18 staffers have left since Meghan and Harry got married in 2018. We're talking about people in major positions, chiefs of staff, press secretaries, production managers, presidents of their foundation. These aren't interns who left after summer break. These are serious professionals who, for whatever reason, decided working for the Sussexes wasn't worth it. Just this year, 4 more people bounced. Their LA-based deputy press secretary, Kyle Boulia, gone. Their UK press officer, Charlie Gibson, peace out. And the most telling departure? Josh Kettler, their chief of staff, who lasted exactly 3 months before calling it quits. 3 months! That's barely enough time to figure out where the coffee maker is. Now here's where it gets spicy. One source who actually worked for them told the press, and I quote, "It's Meghan. She's unbearable. She talks down to people and is very condescending." Ouch. That's not coming from a tabloid. That's coming from someone who was actually there, watching it happen. But wait, there's more. The Hollywood Reporter, one of the biggest entertainment trade publications out there, dropped an absolute bombshell. They talked to 12 people, former and current staff, and the picture they painted? Not pretty. One source described Meghan as marching around like a dictator in high heels. Another said that everyone's terrified of Meghan. And then the Daily Beast came through with their own report. And honestly, this one made my jaw drop. A source who worked for the couple during their UK days said, "There definitely were bad, very bad, even psycho moments. I witnessed people being chewed up in person and over the phone and made to feel like absolute garbage." Now, before you think this is just a pile-on, let me pump the brakes here, because the story gets complicated. So after the Hollywood Reporter story dropped and the internet basically exploded, something interesting happened. Suddenly, 5 current and former employees came forward to Us Weekly with a completely different story. They said Meghan was supportive and solution-oriented. One claimed they had never, not once, heard Meghan yell. Ben Browning, who was their former head of content, said the work environment was positive and supportive, and that they all continue to be friends. One anonymous current staffer told the magazine, "If you come for our bosses, you're coming for us. This isn't a criminal organization. We're trying to do good." Okay, but can we talk about that defense for a second? "This isn't a criminal organization" is a wild thing to have to clarify about your workplace. Like, that's the bar we're setting? Hey, at least it's not the mafia. But there were some genuinely nice details that came out. Staff members said Meghan sends emails as early as 5 a.m., but she includes a note saying, "My working day may not be your working day. Please do not feel obliged to reply outside your normal working hours." That's actually pretty thoughtful. They also said she gives credit where credit is due, sends personal thank you emails after big trips, and even sends luxury gifts to staff. One employee said when they adopted a dog, Meghan sent them a designer leash and collar the next day. So what's the truth? Is she a thoughtful boss who remembers the little things? Or is she an unbearable dictator who chews people up and spits them out? Here's the thing. It might be both. And that's what makes this story so fascinating. Let's zoom out for a second. Because whether Meghan is the world's best boss or the world's worst, there's one fact nobody can dispute. 18 people have left. That's not normal turnover. That's a revolving door. And when you're running what's supposed to be a family-friendly charitable company, as one source described Archewell, that kind of churn raises questions. Royal expert Hilary Fordwich called it another indication of the dysfunction and instability within their household. And look, she's not wrong. When your chief of staff doesn't even make it to the 4-month mark, that's a red flag the size of California. But here's what really gets me. This pattern isn't new. Back in 2018, the Sunday Times ran a story with the headline, "Meghan Loses Second Close Aide," and coined the nickname Duchess Difficult. That name stuck in the British press for years, so this reputation has been following her since before she even left the royal family. During that time, there were even bullying allegations that surfaced right before her Oprah interview in 2021. Meghan's team called them a smear campaign, and when the New York Times asked her about it later that year, she was dismissive, basically saying, "Don't read tabloids." But here's the problem with that response. When multiple legitimate publications are reporting similar stories, it's not just tabloids anymore. Okay, so remember that awkward announcement at the beginning? Let's circle back to that, because there's a layer to this story that makes it even more cringe. PR experts have been analyzing this moment, and they're not holding back. Renee Smith, a PR expert and founder of The Atticism, said her stomach dropped when she read about the announcement. She called it painfully performative and said there's no way it happened spontaneously. According to her, it was either agreed to or requested. And from a PR perspective, it's messy and the cringiest of cringe. But Smith didn't stop there. She said Meghan desperately needs a proper brand strategist who has the authority to say no. Imagine being so extra that PR professionals are publicly begging someone to rein you in. Royal expert Hilary Fordwich was even more direct. She said, "This was very intentional. Instructions were given, so it appears she was making a point. Sadly for her, probably not the point she intended. The use of her royal title is beyond pretentious. It's hypocritical at best." And you know what? She's got a point about the hypocrisy. This is the same woman who cried on camera during her Oprah interview about how oppressive and formal royal life was. She talked about hating all the protocol, wanting to just be normal, wanting to hug people without worrying about breaking rules. She literally fled the UK claiming she couldn't handle the stuffiness. And now, she's having staff announce her by her full royal title in borrowed houses when there's literally one other person present. The cognitive dissonance is absolutely stunning. Let's talk about this Duchess title for a minute, because it's clearly very important to Meghan. And I mean very important. This isn't just about the Harper's Bazaar incident. There's a whole pattern here. Earlier this year, Meghan sent a gift basket to Jamie Kern-Lima and signed it HRH Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. Now, technically, she's not supposed to use the HRH anymore after stepping back from royal duties, but she did it anyway. Her team defended it as a private gesture, but here's the problem. Lima posted the basket online, complete with Meghan's products and titles on full display. So it wasn't exactly private, was it? And then there's her Netflix series, With Love, Meghan, which launched earlier this year. In one episode, guest Mindy Kaling casually referred to her as Meghan Markle multiple times, and Meghan corrected her on camera. "You keep saying Meghan Markle. You know I'm Sussex now. I share my Sussex name with my children. I didn't know how meaningful it would be to me, but it just means so much to say, this is our family name." Okay, but here's my question. If being royal was so terrible, if the protocol and formality were so suffocating, if you fled the institution because it was destroying your mental health, why are you clinging to the title like your life depends on it? Why are you correcting talk show hosts who use your actual name? Why are you having people announce you in empty houses? The answer, I think, is pretty obvious. That title is her brand. It's the only thing that makes her interesting in Hollywood. Without Duchess of Sussex, she's just another former cable TV actress trying to make it in an industry that's already said no to her multiple times. Speaking of Hollywood saying no, let's talk about how Meghan's post-royal career has actually gone. Because this context matters when we're trying to understand why she's so desperate to hold on to that Duchess identity. Remember her Spotify podcast, Archetypes? It launched in August 2022 with huge fanfare. Spotify reportedly paid millions for it. And then, it got canceled after one season. In June 2023, Spotify announced they weren't renewing it. One season and done. That's brutal. She tried again with a podcast called Confessions of a Female Founder in April 2025. No second season planned. Crickets. Then there's her lifestyle brand, American Riviera Orchard, which was supposed to be her big comeback. She was going to be the next Gwyneth Paltrow, creating this luxury lifestyle empire. She even sent jam samples to influencers. And you know what happened? People laughed. The trademark applications got blocked, and most importantly, nobody actually wanted to buy what she was selling. The brand basically died before it launched. Netflix? That relationship has reportedly deteriorated so badly that they're essentially backing away in slow motion. Their Polo documentary got brutal analytics, and her cooking show? Reports say Netflix deliberately left it off their promotional materials and refused to stock any Meghan-related merchandise in their pop-up shops. That's not how you treat talent you value. That's how you quietly distance yourself from someone who's become a liability. She even reportedly reached out to Jeff Bezos trying to secure Amazon funding and opportunities. Crickets. Hollywood has made its position crystal clear. They're not interested in Meghan the producer, Meghan the lifestyle guru, or Meghan the entrepreneur. The only version of Meghan that generates any attention is Meghan the Duchess of Sussex, former royal, woman who married a prince. And that's why she can't let go of the title. Without it, she's invisible in the entertainment industry. So let's put all these pieces together. Because this story is about way more than just one awkward announcement, or even 18 staff departures. This is about identity, about relevance, about what happens when the thing you ran away from turns out to be the only thing that made you special. Meghan told the world she was escaping an oppressive institution. She painted herself as a victim of rigid protocol and suffocating formality. She wanted freedom, authenticity, the ability to just be herself without all the royal baggage, and millions of people believed her. They sympathized with her. They supported her decision to leave. But here's what we're seeing now, years later. She didn't actually want to escape the formality. She wanted to escape being second tier. She didn't hate the protocol. She hated having to defer to William and Catherine. She didn't want freedom from being royal. She wanted to be the royal, the one everyone else has to bow to, the one who gets announced when she walks into rooms. So she created her own little kingdom in Montecito, where she gets to be the star, where staff have to treat her like royalty even though she has no official role, where she can demand the announcements and the deference and the formal titles without any of the actual responsibilities that come with being a working royal. And the staff who've left? They're the ones who got tired of playing along with the fantasy. They're the ones who realized that working for someone who's this detached from reality, this desperate to maintain an identity that no longer fits, just isn't worth it. No matter how nice the gift baskets are. Before we wrap this up, I want to hear from you. Do you think Meghan's behavior is as bad as the critics say? Or are we all being too harsh on someone who's just trying to maintain her identity? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because this one's dividing people hard. And if you're enjoying this deep dive into celebrity workplace drama,